hour after the highlights of the Bupa Great South Run.
Hadrian Springwater, broadcast sponsors of the Bupa Great South Run 98.
Hello and welcome to a cold, blustery seafront here at Southsea for the 1998 Bupa Great South Run. This year we can boast the biggest field ever, 5,000 for Britain's biggest 10-mile event. Well, we'll be covering today the mini, the junior and main races, which include some of Britain's biggest names in distance running. Gary Staines is no stranger to this event, winning in 1993, 94 and again in 96, completing the course in 46 minutes and 57 seconds. Last year, Staines slipped to fourth place, with victory going to Christopher Keelong in a time of 46.53. The course record, by the way, is held by Benson Masher, who won the 1995 Great South Run in 45.56, which is the fastest time ever run for this distance on British soil. In the same year, Liz Mccolgan on her debut won in 53.12, which headed the British rankings that year. Duratu Tulu won the following year with a quicker time of 52.39. But Mccolgan came back last year to set a new women's record for the 10-mile course of exactly 52 minutes. Well, Liz Mccolgan's withdrawal due to a foot injury opens the door for Marion Sutton, while in the men's race, three-times champion Gary Staines is back. But look out for course record holder Benson Masher, Andrew Pearson and Stefan Franke.
Stefan, welcome to Portsmouth. Looking forward to today's race?
Yes, I am. 5 years ago I ran for the first time, so it's a comeback for me here, and it's a little cold, but I hope I get warmed up during the race.
You're fresh from a bronze medal at the European Championships, so obviously you're in good shape. Are you using this in preparation for the Berlin Marathon?
Yes, I have a Berlin Marathon next weekend, on Sunday, 25th Berlin Marathon. It's going to be tough after 4.5 weeks. Only preparation for the marathon should be taken a little more serious, but I hope this is a step towards next week.
Gary, a past winner of this event, confident?
Not as confident as I have been in previous years. I've had a few upsets along the way. I've had a bad 18 months really race-wise. So today is about re-establishing myself as a good road runner and getting myself back in there and mixing it with the good guys, which I've had problems in doing over the last 12, 18 months.
Benson, we know that you've won the Great North Run 4 times before, obviously a 13-mile distance, so the 10-mile must seem a bit of a sprint to you.
It depends with the training you have been doing. If you are not fit, you can't just go sprinting. I think right now I'm in good shape to go a lot faster than before, so I think I'm looking for a good race though.
As we can see, there's windy here today. Is there any chance of a course record?
It should be. I'm in very good shape, so yeah, I mean, if the wind drops, it'd be very nice. Hopefully I'll still run a fast time.
Yeah, and Marion's in good shape. I just saw a result from last week in a 10k. I think it was one of the fastest in Britain this year. So she's obviously the favourite. But I'm just going to go out there and realise where I'm at the moment and try and get a better performance in my last 10 mile.
Well, there are all the big names in the main event, but to kick it all off this morning, we have over 400 under-8s in the mini run and over 1,000 under-15s in the junior Great South Run. By former Southampton player Barry Venison. Barry, you're looking in great shape, but you've got the most important job of all. You're starting the race. Are you up for it?
I'm up for it. I can manage it. I think blow a whistle, blow a horn, I can do that, as long as I don't have to run it.
I was going to say, you're obviously not playing football anymore. Are you keeping in shape?
Yeah, a little bit of jogging. So I obviously had a back operation, which restricts me enough. That's why I had to finish football. But yeah, I like a little jog. I mean, it takes me about 30 minutes to do a 20-minute run these days, but it's a little bit of bike riding, a little bit of jogging. General fitness, not like these boys. These boys look really fit. I can't believe how fit everybody is today.
And a fantastic atmosphere down here.
Yeah, it's good. It's a fun day. It's a family day.
Roy, I've got to say, it's absolutely freezing for us standing around, but obviously that's why you're jumping about.
That's right. It won't be freezing soon because I'm going to get everybody warmed up and motivated, ready for this run.
What are your tips? What are you going to concentrate on?
Well, legs mainly, like hamstrings and calves, stretching them out, and also just getting the blood circulating around the body. It's very important to warm all the muscle up, get the blood going around the body, and get really sort of warmed up inside, and then ready to go.
You've got a big, strong voice, because there are a few competitors over 5,000.
No problem, no problem. I can project to 1 million, if you like.
Well, with all 5,000 athletes warmed up and ready to go, and with a wheelchair race just about to start, let's join our commentary team, Peter Elliott and Jeff Whiteman.
Well, our wheelchair competitors underway. It's a perfect course for them, very flat, but there is quite a vicious side wind coming towards the Solent, as you can see from some of those flags in the backdrop there, and a great reception for our wheelchair competitors. 5,200 runners toe the line here, ranging from age 17 to age 33. Average age 37, and Peter Elliott, the running boom, very much back with us.
Very much back, so 5,000 runners on the day. Obviously it's not all about the elite field, it's about the mass participation event behind them, and when you get that kind of number coming out and competing, then it does show that the running boom is very much back with us.
And I think the most encouraging sign of the latest mini boom is the number of women that are supporting races. So under starters orders, Barry Venison and the Lady Mayoress of the City of Portsmouth get the 5,200 runners underway. You can see the pitch is flattered to deceive slightly because it's more than crisp. Autumn very much with us on the south coast. And a nice clean start. Course record held by Benson Mashier at a shade under 46 minutes. I think the wind will certainly mitigate against that, but he's in the field at the sharp end, and so too is two-time winner Gary Staines of Great Britain on the comeback trail.
The great advantages of this course is that you can see the athletes.
Well, these will take rather longer than 50 minutes.
Chris, I think we've got a great racing spectacle.
But good clearance times through the start line. Barry Venison on the podium there to the left of the shot. Just seeing them off in style.
Well, this is great to see so many runners out there. This race is the biggest 10-mile race in the country, as we said earlier, with over 5,000 runners. It's all about them going out there, it's all about them running the same course as the elite field, and obviously trying for a personal best out of today's run.
Well, you can see there's great crowd support as these mid-packers cross the start line. Big crowd out in Southsea to see them off in style. It's a good course for spectators, in fact, because as they head west towards the dockyard, they'll loop back to pass within a few hundred yards of this point, approaching 6 miles. And here's confirmation of the route on the graphic. You can see quite an intricate loop. The prevailing wind will run from the northwest to the southeast, and of course that will mean the runners have the wind against them on that long run in from 8 miles right through to the finish at South Parade Pier. Well, this is the lead pack in the men's group, still within the first mile. You can see Andrew Pearson wearing 6 there, playing close order, but a big pack and a relatively sedate opening pace into that headwind. Slightly further back, Marion Sutton, the tall figure there in the middle, looking to attack a 3rd Chicago Marathon title in less than a month, and behind her, Behan Dagne of Ethiopia. See Britain well represented in that leading group, Benson Mashier and Stefan Franke also going well. Spencer Newport marries in 2 weeks' time. That's him on the extreme left of the shot, on the right-hand side as we look at it head-on. Blackheath Harrier in good form. Gary Staines, twice winner in the shades. And Mashier, the former bantamweight boxer from Kenya, 3 times winner of the Honolulu Marathon, just being edged by Staines. That's HMS Victory as they go through the most scenic part of the naval dockyard. You can see the men's group whittling down to around a dozen contenders into the 2nd mile. There's Tim Dickinson on the comeback trail for Blackheath Harriers there in 3rd place, but still Mashier and Franke. There's the cool, composed figure of the German Franke. And making her presence felt in the women's race, Marion Sutton now entering the dockyard with a posse of 4 men around her. So the two overseas contenders now starting to put down the hammer. You can see they're composed enough to have a conversation about matters. And I think if I was talking to a bantamweight boxer and he suggested a racing plan, I'd perhaps think about sticking to it. Meanwhile, the mid-packers making their way in front of Nelson's flagship. 5,200 runners, and the running boom very much back with us, and this event a cornerstone of the autumn race program for many club athletes and many recreational runners as well. There we see the battle for third and fourth in the women's race. That's Jo Thompson in the green and white singlet, and behind her Liz Talbert of the Bedford Club, who runs for Great Britain in the World Half Marathon in 2 weeks. Up ahead of them, our Ethiopian Birhan Dagne in second place, but some way behind our leader Marion Sutton, already opening up a big gap on the women's field and taking advantage of the mixed race, keeping in touch with the men. These are our lead two men, Masha and Franke. They look likely to be the main contenders in today's race. Meanwhile, the mid-packers can enjoy the scenery rather more as they pass HMS Victory. We'll be back right after this.
Where is everybody? Heartburn, jumping acids, burning fire.
You've done that. You've earned money back. So what do you do now? The new blue card from American Express. It pays you to do more.
Welcome back. The Bupa Great South Run continues, and the foreign contingent are certainly dominating. This is Stefan Franke, the European bronze medalist at 10,000 metres from last month, and Benson Masher looking a little bit less comfortable than we would expect from the course record holder, indeed the UK all-comers record holder at this distance. Franke gives nothing away, poker player of a runner, you can see, head locked solid, but Marion Sutton is having no competition at this stage in the women's event. She is absolutely dominating in the opening third of the race, and you can see that the decent club male runners around her are struggling to stay with this opening pace. Back there in second place is our Ethiopian, now resident and cleared for official residence in Britain by the Home Office, but not able to run for Britain yet. And Liz Talbert, just 23 years of age, making her debut at 10 miles, and you can see finding the pace quite tough, but she's closing slightly on Dagne. Head on, you can see nobody taking any shelter from the wind, Peter. You'd expect perhaps one of them to have shouldered some of the burden at this stage.
You would have expected to, but to see them out there at the front having a good race, because I think a lot of problems with the Kenyans in the past is that they've gone out there and destroyed a field and they're on their own, but this is a real head-to-head battle between two of the best elite athletes in the world.
And you can see we get confirmation of the lead truck time, 28 minutes and 40 seconds through 6 miles, so that is good running. Andrew Pearson now appears to be getting away from Julius Ruto, the Kenyan. Pearson and Ruto have had a battle royal during the first half of this race. and good to see Andrew Pearson back after a brief foray into mountain running. There's Gary Staines, first time he's raced for a long time, just ahead of Nick Jones in the blue from Tipton Harriers and Spencer Newport. So along the front, great support, great musical accompaniment from the local brass band, and still Franke looking very relaxed. Marion Sutton starting to drift off the back of that group of men, but she has an awful lot of daylight between her and the second woman and can afford to take a breather here and there.
I think it would be great for Marion to win this event because she's finished second on 2 occasions in the past, so it would be nice for her to come out and actually win this one and give her the confidence to go into Chicago.
Well, speaking of runners-up, in fact, Masha is on a bit of a hot streak of second places. He's been runner-up, I think, a few times in UK road races, Peter.
He has. He's just had the last 3 weekends. He's had 3 second places, so obviously he would like to come out here and establish himself. He's been away altitude training in Albuquerque, probably in preparation for these kind of races, and hopefully he'll be hoping to run the Great North Run. But it's a matter of him stamping his authority. But Franke in great shape, using it as a sharpener for next weekend. 26 miles next weekend, 10 miles today, ideal preparation for his Berlin Marathon.
Well, Marion Sutton seems to be a real autumn flower. She certainly has run exceptionally well the last 2 autumns. She's won twice in Chicago. In fact, they invited her back to open the baseball pitching season when the Chicago White Sox began their 1997 season. And the word is, I think, for a 5'12" girl, she's not got a great arm on her. Should stick to road racing. Meanwhile, the mid-packers stream on, and Andrew Pearson finds that Ruto is right back on his shoulder, and this has been an interesting battle right the way through. Ruto has allowed gaps of 20 yards to open up. Now he dares to go past. Let's see if Andrew Pearson has still got that change of pace. Peter, it was disappointing to see Pearson disappear to mountain running in the summer, but glad to see him back.
It was, yes. Well, he went and tried his hand at mountain running and then found out it wasn't quite for him, so it's great to see him back on the roads, because endurance running, especially in the men's in Britain, really need the likes of Andrew Pearson to be back in there.
Well, with Richard Narurka as an interested spectator, this is the crucial point in the race. Franke starting to open daylight, and Pearson now is trying to do the same as they come into the final mile of the race. Narurka there in the background, roaring them on. He ran for Britain in the European Championship Marathon last month. His wife's out there in the race, but Franke now, his face gives nothing away, but just look at the gap that he has opened up on Benson Masha, the course record holder. Masha appears to have let him go. Franke not looking back, not allowing a moment's hesitation in this final mile assault. This is a dramatic burst, Peter.
This is excellent running by Franke. He has make up the lead. He's destroyed Benson Masha, and to take that kind of distance out to Benson Masha shows that everything is going really well. Obviously Gary Staines battling with Nick Jones and Spencer Newport, and this is going to be an interesting battle to the finish.
Well, Staines really needs a confidence boost. He's missed most of the summer with injuries and setbacks. Marion Sutton really doesn't need to worry about these men around her. She will be going for the fastest time in Britain this year. She currently holds that, and at the moment she's on course for 54 minutes, and that would really round up her assault on a 3rd Chicago Marathon title quite nicely. It's been a good run from her. Franke, meanwhile, passing the runners, approaching the 7-mile mark on the opposite carriageway, and he looks absolutely effortless as he approaches the final 800 metres. Great running from the German. The track pedigree has paid off, and he has put in as spectacular a last mile as you could wish to see on this course. And at last the mask slips, he can wave. Stefan Franke of Germany is the 1998 Bupa Great South Run champion, and a richly deserved win. All the damage done in the final mile of the race. Brilliant running. Masha, a slightly leg-weary second. The Kenyan will live to fight another day, but he has a sequence of silver medals that he will be looking to break very soon. And in 3rd place, it's Andrew Pearson just getting the better of the Kenyan Ruto, but look at the battle going on behind. It's Jones, Spencer Newport and Gary Staines. Who's going to get the better of it? It's Spencer Newport, the man whose next big event is his wedding to fellow international Angela Davis in 2 weeks' time. Gary Staines looking a very weary 6th place there, and in fact he's got a little way to go for race sharpness as Nick Jones follows him in. Nobody will bother Sutton. She is cruising towards one of the fastest times in Britain this year. It's been a brilliantly dominant display by her. You can see the concentration hasn't slipped for a moment as she enters this last 400 metres. Great run from her, Peter.
Excellent running by Marion Sutton, good confidence boost, destroyed a high-class elite field out there. But this is the kind of race she's wanted. She's wanted this winning position. She's been runner-up to Liz Mccolgan last year, but come out, dominated the race, gone for a quick time in these blustery conditions, and she's got the winner's title.
Well, that will be a real pet to the old confidence going to Chicago for a third win. Marion Sutton, you can see there a brief acknowledgement. It's been a hard run. It's been a fairly lonely run. Behind her, Birhan Dagne of Ethiopia takes second. And she has just got away from Liz Talbert, whose next appearance will be for Great Britain in the World Half Marathon Championships in Zurich. So a great road career ahead of Liz Talbert, third in the Bupa Great South Run.
We've just got number 2.
So as the VIP party greet the winners and the remainder of the 5,500 field make their way to the finish, some celebrating personal best, everyone a winner. There's confirmation of a brilliant time. The second half of the race run quicker than the first. Stefan Franke 47.40, and good news for the Brits there in 3rd, 5th and 6th place. And Marion Sutton will be very pleased with that. Only she amongst British women has run quicker than this, and that was on the electric quick course in Washington in the spring of this year, and very promising results behind her. So a great result in the women's event. Good news all round.
During the race, you and Benson took the lead and were chatting to each other. Was it as easy as it looked?
I felt really comfortable. I was surprised because I didn't know how well I digested the European champs and the emotional high after that. But I felt good, and I think I can be pretty confident looking forward to the Berlin Marathon next weekend.
And the decision to go at 9 Mile, was that pre-planned?
No, I felt that Benson was a little bit letting down the pace, and so I didn't want to have it too close in the last 400 meters, so I decided to go a mile to go, and it was perfect.
Marion, congratulations, pre-race favourite, you came out and did it.
Yeah, I'm disappointed with the weather. It was a bit too breezy to run a really fast time, but yeah, I was glad to win, that's for sure.
Well, it was, because obviously you were up against a very high-class field today, and the preparation going well for the Chicago Marathon, so you must be pleased with that performance overall.
Yes, I am. I'm fit, and yeah, I ran a good solid race today, which is what I needed, and I wanted to win, and of course that's what I did, and so I'm satisfied, yeah.
Well, the conditions may have been cold and windy, but Peter, we had some fantastic performances.
Some excellent performance today. Benson Masher battling with Stefan Franke. Franke managing to get away at the 9 Mile mark, winning the race. Pre-race favourite Marion Sutton destroying a very high-class field for victory. It's been a great day.
And over 5,000 people taking part. They're all finishing now. They must have enjoyed it. How about you?
I've enjoyed it. It's great to see this many athletes turning out, as you say, over 5,000. But I think it's also a credit to the crowd on the course who have lined the whole course during this race. But it's been a fantastic day.
Peter, thanks very much for joining us. Well, unfortunately, that's just about it from all of us here at the Bupa Great South Run. So bye-bye.
Hadrian Spring Water, broadcast sponsors of the Bupa Great South Run 98.